You're live, Eric.
Hey guys, welcome to the Galveston Bay Fishing Show. We are here at the NRG Center and I'm live here with a great friend of mine, Chill Pillsbury with Gulf Coast Marine.
Howdy everybody.
And we told you that we were going to come to you with some interviews, and Chill was one of the men that I wanted to interview. This man has been around boat shows for many, many years. How many years have you been coming to boat shows, not only here but also in Dallas, Texas?
Well, I counted it up. This is my 87th boat show. So I don't know if that tells how old I am, but it's a whole lot of boat shows. So I've seen a lot of stuff go on in the boat business.
Now tell people how you've been to that many boat shows.
Well, because, you know, there's usually about 3 or 4 boat shows a year. And being in the boat business as long as I have, pretty much every year except the 4 years I went to college, it just adds up to a whole lot of boat shows. So I've seen a lot of things coming and going over the years.
You still alive, guys?
You're still alive. Sorry about that.
Yeah, my history with Chill goes back to the days in which he and I both worked together at Lewis Del Home Marine. And we had just a lot of fun together working these shows. We sold a lot of boats. And with Chill's knowledge, I want to ask him a few questions, and these are things that might help you if you're coming out to the show. But I do want to talk about one thing. Could you share with them the background of your father and Pillsbury Boats in Dallas, Texas? Could you share a little bit about that?
Sure. My dad went business in 1959 up in Dallas. People thought he was crazy for going in the boat business. In 1961, he became a Sea Ray dealer, and everybody kind of knows, you know, the meteoric rise of Sea Ray to the top of the charts as far as the boating community. And so we had that for 37 years. Our dealership became part of Marine Max up in Dallas. And then I in turn worked for Marine Max for quite a while. And then came over here to Gulf Coast Marine about 4 months ago. And the cool thing is that the gentleman I work for now, his name's Billy Holmes, his dad and my dad did a lot of business together.
Wow.
Back in the 50s.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's full circle.
So could you tell the people that watch this a little bit about Gulf Coast Marine, and like you said, privately owned? Could you give them a little more background, the locations, things like that?
Sure. Gulf Coast Marine's been around since 1954. Billy Holmes Sr. started it. And now Billy Holmes Jr., who's about my age, has the company. We've got 3 locations. We're on South Padre Island Drive in Corpus, which that's the main location since 1954. Then we are on Highway 6 in Hitchcock, not too far from the Harbor Walk entrance. And then the store that I've got is right there next to Marine Max, between Marine Max and Sam's Buck on NASA Road 1. And as far as the brands that we carry, they've always really catered to the Gulf Coast. You know, just they really wanted to be efficient and be kind of aficionados as far as all the different aspects of how people fish on the Gulf Coast, whether it's offshore or bay or skinny water, floundering, whatever it might be. And so, you know, most of our lines are indicative of all those different styles. We don't carry any runabouts or anything like that. We're pretty much committed to the fishing community.
Well, the great thing about that is it would seem as if somebody lives in Houston, the Houston area, they could come to the show, look at a boat with y'all, and have potentially, am I understanding correct, they could have some availability here at this location, but also the Corpus location for any sort of needs, or how would it work for them?
Well, that's a really good point, Eric. We have lots of customers that will buy a boat here, but they've got a place at Port Aransas, Rockport, Key Largo, wherever. So we've got a huge total service facility down there. We have a valet service. So if they're down there, they've used the boat for the weekend, maybe there's something that needs to be done, we'll go pick it up from their house, bring it in, get everything taken care of, clean it up, take it back, put it in their slip, and the next time they come down, the boat's ready to go. But it also helps us keep a really expansive inventory. With 3 locations, the chances of somebody being able to find the boat, the color, the equipment, everything they want is going to be a lot better.
Now I'm going to tell you something that I learned. What I like about this particular situation for Chill and for somebody that might watch this and come up and look at some boats is I love to hear that family owned, and with somebody like Chill running the show here for the NASA Road 1 location, I like that there's going to be some pride in this company, and there's a name that means something.
Absolutely.
And I think I have seen through my time working in the boat business, the car business, is when you have that ownership, that private ownership, owner management type system that we're talking about here. There's this pride to fulfill the needs to the customer rather than the customer just being a number caught in some big wheel.
That's exactly right.
I like that y'all, it sounds like to me, what I love even more is it's not super small. You have nice buying power,
right.
Nice service capabilities, but not too big.
Right.
Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, because you can get to the point where it's maybe a little bit overwhelming for the customer. Too many brands or too many models to pick from and things like that. But that is one thing that we hear people say time and time again, is that they really do feel like they're dealing with a family business, that there is a lot of pride of ownership, and that the employees, they don't feel like they're part of a corporation. They really feel like they're part of a team. I know that sounds kind of like what you'd expect me to say, but it's really true. And that's what drew me here.
Right.
Because I've worked for the corporate boat companies, and they have a place in the industry for sure, and they do a good job at it. But for me and our customer base and the products that we carry, these people want to feel like they're part of the Gulf Coast family. And I think that's a really good point.
So I wanted to ask you a few more questions. With your experience in the number of shows you've gone to, and David and I have gone to a lot of shows. We actually did a Galveston Bay fishing show, and we had some tips to some customers that may come out and look and browse.
Right.
What are some of the direct changes you've seen from the shows from, say, 30 years ago and, say, today? What are some changes? Just some interesting things you think what might be interesting to somebody watches that you can say of some changes you've seen in the industry?
Well, something that we were just talking about with David is that, it's kind of hard to find a stick and rudder boat now. If you want just a skiff that's got a helm and an outboard motor, you're not going to find it. And back in the day, you think about it, the shows that we used to work, the reason we sold so many boats compared to the numbers that we sell today, I think the dollar volume's more now, but the units is less, and the price point was so much less. Nowadays we're going with higher horsepower, lots more standard equipment. The building technology of the boats, is more expensive for the manufacturer. Therefore, it's indicated in the purchase price of the boat. So that would be one big thing that.
Would you say the quality of the boats overall is better by a big amount or not?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would definitely think that because of the things that we've seen in other industries as far as automation, robotics, CAD/CAM, things like that. Boats are definitely better nowadays than they have been in the past, but that all comes at a cost. So people are definitely getting a better boat nowadays, but they're also paying a higher price.
And what seems to be the trend for 19? 19, maybe even you could say, I know it sounds early, but 19 going into 20.
Right.
19 going into 21. What seems to be a trend for somebody that's coming up here that might be of interest to them? What are some trends, a trend?
Well, one trend that we've really seen that's interesting is that, and especially for Galveston Bay, because we've put these boats down at Harbor Walk, we've put them at Tiki, we've put them at Lafitte's, we've put them all over the place. Pontoon boats. I know it sounds crazy because you don't really equate a pontoon boat with some kind of a really efficient fishing rig. But if you think about it, it's shallow draft, smooth riding, West Bay, East Bay, they're usually rough, huge fishing platform. You can get all the options you want as far as live wells and stuff like that. So that's one trend that we've seen, because with the Tri-Tune, more horsepower, it's a more efficient package all the way around. The other thing that we've seen is this high specialization in some of the hull configurations that you see on these cat boats and stuff. I mean, it really does look like it was designed by like a NASA engineer or something. And we carry a boat designed by a NASA engineer.
For somebody watching, what's a cat boat?
A cat boat would be a catamaran. It's got two independent hulls that traps air in between it. So it actually rides on a cushion of air, runs shallow, runs smooth. They don't turn as well as other boats. They tend to slide a little bit, but they do give you the advantage of, for a shallow water boat, it's a little bit better ride than just a typical skinny water boat would be.
And this being the Galveston Bay Fishing Show,
Yeah.
what would be a few boats, let's say, what would be 3 boats that would stand out in your mind? And think about it for just a second. What are 3 boats that somebody would want to look at for Galveston Bay? And I know you have more than 3, but
Right.
what would be 3 boats that come to your mind that you have here? And they've got a beautiful, beautiful booth, by the way. By the way, you have a beautiful booth.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of work. One of the first boats that comes to mind is definitely a Sea Hunt.
I like that. I have a Sea Hunt.
Sea Hunt builds so many different models that it really accommodates a lot of different fishing styles. You get somebody that wants something that they could fish the jetties, but also fish West Bay. Yeah, they're looking at like a Triton or a small Ultra or something like that. And then the BX is going to be a little shallower freeboard, a little less draft.
So the Sea Hunt BX model
The BX
is a shallower draft or lower sided boat?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. So the Sea Hunt would definitely be in the running up till about 24, 25 feet. We go all the way up to a 25 in that BX.
What brand motor do you stock?
On the Sea Hunt, it's going to all be Yamaha. I mean, on the Sea Hunt, you're going to get a Yamaha or a Yamaha. So that's pretty much it. Then if you move over, a new line that we took on is Boca Bay. Boca Bay is it's a reinvention of a very, very popular boat that used to be out there that was called a Bay Stealth. They took the Bay Stealth hull plug, retooled it a little bit, built this boat. So it's got a tunnel built into it, good shallow water boat. It's Kevlar reinforced. Comes with quite a few options, but you know, you can get into a 21 with a 150, and it's going to be a 150 Suzuki for $37,900.
And David and I have been looking around, and that's a great value.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. And one of the things being in this business as long as I have, and I was talking to a family about it today, I was brought up in boating, my kids were brought up in boating, and then my grandkids are being brought up in boating. And it's the best lifestyle ever.
Why though? Why?
Well, because when you're out there as a family, it's a captive audience. You're all together. It's like when my 17-year-old and I go fishing. I mean, we may not be agreeing with each other, or we may not be talking a lot, but we're together, and it just really breeds some great memories. You know, there's always something for the kids, whether it's being pulled on a tube, fishing, camping, exploring, whatever it is. But there's so many things pulling families in different directions. You know, you got Little League, you got all these other activities, you got cheerleading, and moms going to junior league and all this.
David and I talked about this. What about iPads, electronics?
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Hopefully they'll fall overboard. You know, that's who needs them when you're out there? So.
What's that, David?
Nothing.
Oh, David was trying to tell me something. And of the boats, you talked about the best value. Lastly, what are some of the key things, 4 or 5 things to consider when buying a boat? And I say, somebody comes to the show, they get overwhelmed, they may want to write these things down before they even come in the show. What are a few things you suggest they look at?
Well, it's definitely overwhelming. I mean, you think there's almost 1,400 boats in here. I mean, this is a huge facility. This is the largest indoor boat show in the country. So it's definitely overwhelming. So what people need to look at is the longevity of the dealer. You know, I just, to me, it would be such a bad experience if somebody bought a boat from a dealer that was short-lived. Then who are they going to go back to when they've got issues, when they want to buy another boat? There's really nobody. And we've got a lot of long-standing dealers in the area, so we're blessed in that regard. The other thing is the boat company itself. Again, is it a boat company that's been around for a while?
And you mean like the manufacturer?
Yeah.
The brand?
The people building the boat. Have they been around for a while? With all the social media that we've got, get on the message board. See how they're taking care of their customers. Really do your research, because the information's out there. Even the engine manufacturer, if something looks too good to be true, if a price looks too good to be true, it usually is. So if somebody's got a 21-foot boat with a 115 on it, and it's on the trailer, and you can buy that boat for $22,995, I'd say run, because it's too good to be true. There's no value in that, because the motor's too small, the trailer may be under-equipped, and it may be a boat manufacturer that really hasn't done their due diligence. And you and I used to sell a boat like that.
Oh yeah,
many years ago, and it's a difficult situation. So, and the other thing that I would really want them to consider is who they're dealing with individually. Find a good dealer, find a good product, and find a good salesperson, because I found, and maybe you have too, in the boating industry, you have a lot of guys that have been doing this a long time, and they've got a lot of experience, and a lot of them, they really do a great job. And
I agree.
And they really are customer centric.
I agree.
They really love their customers. So that guy or that girl is really going to take good care of you, and they're going to listen to really identify what it is you're looking for. So I think those would be some really keys.
Yeah, if the salesperson is not asking questions and finding out about you, your situation, and what you want to do with the boat, then it's probably the wrong salesperson.
Yeah, I'd say
Would we agree?
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely a red flag.
And if the salesperson's asking a lot of questions, actually, probably my advice would be don't get offended. Actually, that's reason to celebrate. This person genuinely cares.
Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to really identify your needs and get you into the right boat. And by and large, again, in this community, these people have been doing it for a long time. I've told people this, I don't have the boat full. You know, I had a friend of mine that walked one of their customers over here today so they could buy a boat from us, because they didn't have the right boat. We did. And it's a tight-knit community. It's a lot of fun to work with all these guys.
One last thing that you brought up that I wanted to ask you about. You did mention the trailer. And David, the trailer, there's no like one body that governs what trailer goes under what boat. So your point about the trailer is fantastic. You could actually go buy a boat, do everything, sign on the dotted line, drive off with it, and a month later you realize they put the wrong trailer under there.
Right.
And there's no per se measure to go back and say, you put the wrong trailer on there, I want a full refund. You have got to know that on the boat, you've got to figure out, do I've got the right trailer? Do I need a single axle or do I need a tandem axle?
Right.
And has the trailer been fitted for the boat? Is that
Right.
correct?
And do I need brakes?
And do I need brakes?
You know, depending on your tow vehicle. I mean, I drive a Grand Cherokee. It'll pull a big boat, but it won't stop a big boat. So I need brakes. So you got to make sure that the trailer is properly equipped. You know, most of the trailers that we deal with are all aluminum. Some of them are galvanized. Aluminum is definitely the least maintenance when you're in a saltwater application. But some great manufacturers around here. We sell Magic Tilt. Locally, we've got McLean, who builds a beautiful trailer. So, again, do your homework.
What about a bend tongue or removable tongue on the boat and trailer combinations? Do y'all have or know if somebody that can put a bend tongue or removable tongue on your trailers or no?
Yeah, the manufacturer can do it.
Because if you go to buy this boat, now you're then, after you buy it, you're thinking, where am I going to store this boat?
Right.
And somebody can save $25, $30, $40 a month by putting a bend tongue or removable tongue on their trailer. Is that something you could help them with? Or
Yeah, there's kits out there, and I think the jury's still out on whether everybody really, really thinks it's a great idea. I do, because like you said, it saves a lot of storage space. Somebody may be able to even get a boat in their garage by having a swing-away tongue. The mechanisms to me look great. They look like something that the manufacturer would put on. Even Fulton makes one, I think, that's an aftermarket one. But a lot of trailer manufacturers, you can get the trailer made that way right from the factory.
Okay.
So that's a good point.
Excellent. David, what do you have to say about all this, buddy?
It's good information.
Did we get good
Chill,
coverage?
Got good coverage. Looking at the boats that Chill
Walk
has.
around over there. So Chill, we're gonna wrap this up. Could you just walk us over to a couple of those boats that you talked about and show David and myself which ones they were, like the Sea Hunt, for example? Could you
Sure.
walk us over there?
Yep.
Guys, I hope that we continue to have good footage here.
We could have taken them to your your boat over here. Let's just stop at the Everglades. This is one over right here.
Now talk up real loud, guys.
This is a BX22 Sea Hunt.
Okay.
Shallow freeboard, good bay boat, easy to get down on the water when you're, if you're trout fishing, red fishing, whatever it might be. That's one of the reason people love the shallower freeboard is because you can handle your fish.
I love a sea hunt hull.
Oh man!
Now, I've had this boat.
But show what we talk about, the flare of the hull.
Yeah, this is called the Carolina flare.
I love a Carolina flare.
And basically what it's going to do is it's going to channel any water that comes up off the spray rail down and away from the boat so that it doesn't get up high and blow back while you're up at, at
You
the
mean
helm.
you don't like when it just blows up in the air and goes right in your face?
No. Maybe when I was younger, but not now.
So talk about that flare on Galveston Bay, David.
It's good. I mean, it keeps you dry. And I've had this, personally, I ran this hull this year in September and took it 30 miles offshore. And it did really well. So it wasn't a super calm day, but it was nice and it ran good.
Stainless
Performed
rubber
well.
rails, beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Sea Hunt 22.
Right. What they call the BXBR. And again, so many times people are looking for something that's going to do a little bit of both. Mm-hmm. You've got your jump seats across the back. When you close all these up, you have a huge casting platform here, and then you've got your forward casting platform.
And now does Sea Hunt still make this model basically almost identical to this, but without the bells and whistles like this, or is it all is this now what it comes with pretty much standard? The BX is like this.
Well, the BX is definitely the upgraded model.
Okay.
You can still go with like a Triton, which is going to be dressed down a little bit. But probably our best selling is the BX.
Okay.
Because this boat with a 200 Yamaha stainless prop and all that stuff, you're still going to be mid 50s on the trailer.
All right, and then where's the overall best value in terms of dollars that we talked about? The 21 footer.
Yeah, that's going to be right down here. And again, these are the Boca Bays. These are the ones that were tooled off of the Generation 3 Bay Stealth hull. You never ever heard of anybody that ran a Bay Stealth that didn't love the way it rode.
Let's go look at the flare on it too. David, let's look at the flare. Because there's one thing I hate is getting wet on a boat.
Yeah, me too.
Go over there, David. Point out that flare.
Right here, still Carolina flare on that hull.
So this has almost got like a second chine, if you will.
Well, it does. It's got a really hard, this is called a spray rail. It's got a hard spray rail right here, which is taking care of most of the water that's coming up off the keel, knocking it down. Anything that gets up here, you've got a small rail here and then that flare. So it's going to be a really dry running boat. And then if you notice the degree of dead rise on the hull, the V, how sharp it is, it's got a lot of dead rise. It's going to ride extremely well.
Stainless rub rails. Looks like we've got nice 3/16 stainless. Is that what that is?
16 stainless.
Every 6 inches.
You've got your integrated navigation lights.
LED lights inside.
Yeah, so that you don't have to worry about if you're fishing or throwing an anchor line that you're going to catch your bow
Oh,
light.
Eagle Point blue, man. I love that.
That's Eagle Point blue. There we go.
It's pretty nice.
Okay, and then this is powered with the Suzuki 4-stroke.
Correct. Yeah.
And then you can get all of this in, we said, for roughly about 40,000 total.
Oh,
roughly.
yeah,
About
absolutely.
40,000.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of quality. I mean, they're running a 18-inch wide all the way down the keel, Kevlar strip, fully glassed in, just as keel reinforcement. I don't know any other value builder that's doing those kind of things. And even the jump seats, they're using the same latch mechanism on these that you're seeing on the Sea Hunts and that you're seeing on a lot of the other boats. So we're starting to see more and more companies out there that are taking a lot. The tooling cost is where all the money is in boating. If you have to tool a mold up, $1 million easy.
Yeah.
So when you can go buy a mold, you've eliminated all your tooling cost, you go straight into production, you can put a lot more value in the boat and still maintain your profit indexes that you need to.
David, Chill, tell them just briefly, what do you mean by the mold? The mold. What's the mold?
Well, I mean, fiberglass.
I know what it is,
fiberglass
but you
mold.
tell them. Tell them, Chill.
Yeah,
What's the mold?
it's what they mold the hull and the deck off of, and the tooling is, most of the tooling's done by hand, so it's very labor intensive. Oh man,
super labor intensive.
Yeah, it takes a long time to get it right.
And you
get
can
it
shortcut all that by going and getting a mold.
Yeah, so these guys were smart enough to do that. They had all the molds refurbished. They look clean. The fit and finish is good. So what you're doing is you're taking advantage of the fact that they didn't have to go out and reinvent the wheel and start at square one.
Now, if somebody's considering coming out to the show, remember, we are the Galveston Bay Fishing Show.
Right.
So that being said, we assume there's going to be some people that want to actually come out and look at buying a boat.
Right.
If somebody's considering that, why come to this show and buy a boat? And why should they come see you? What's the deal with the show? Why are we even here? I mean, what's the special? What's the deal going on?
I wish somebody would tell me. No.
Because I've always told people the show is great. Why come right now?
The show is great. This is our kickoff. I mean, boating is seasonal. So September, it starts slowing down. We skid into January. We're waiting for the show to come. There's a lot of buyer anticipation. The manufacturers come in and they participate. They want to help us kick off, so we get extended warranties on engines. We get rebates on boats. We get rebates on GPSs and all kinds of things. So, are you going to buy a boat for less here at the boat show? Absolutely. No gimmicks, no smoke and mirrors. It is what it is.
Great. That's a great explanation.
And I think a consumer can come in here and they're not like car dealerships, like I've said before.
Hey. I was in the car business.
Right.
10
Car
years.
dealerships are so close together. They're all the way down 45. You can go and shop and shop and shop. By boat, boat dealerships, they're scattered out. So
Right.
here you can shop every boat, every make, all under one roof.
That's a really good point.
And it helps the consumer.
It does.
It narrows down the consumer from having to drive all over the place to narrow it down to look for a boat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll spend 2 months looking for a boat, and by the time you go and find the boat you want, you're going to forget what you looked at the past
I
month.
agree with you.
Yeah.
This
Are you
is
amazed-
all in one show, one stop.
Yeah.
See all the boats, and then narrow your decision down and buy you a boat.
And then walk down and talk to somebody about boat storage.
And
That's exactly
that's
right.
exactly right.
And we can
because
even
you
come
will-
down here and help them look at the boat, look at width, length, weight, and put them in the right boat slip with lift or the
shed.
boat shed.
Yeah, correct.
Guys, we hope that you've enjoyed this interview with Chill Pillsbury at Gulf Coast Marine. And Chill, if anybody has any questions, is it okay that they come up here and talk to you? And
Sure. My email is chill@gcmboats.com. Even my cell, 713-480-3263. And the only way that people a lot of times can make that educated decision is get your questions answered.
Absolutely.
And I love doing that.
okay, David,
Jill, thank you.
Thanks,
It's been
buddy.
a pleasure.
Been my pleasure.
any questions, just comment on this Facebook Live. And if you want us to come back up here and ask anybody questions about these boats with Chill, we will. Y'all have a great evening. Thank you.